I whacked my chin on the metal frame and it split, but then I went straight into the water, and if you watch it, it's on YouTube.
Hello everyone! It's great. It's a great start. It's a great start. So I'm here with Natalia Love.
Hello.
Now Natalia is a good friend of mine. We've been on the Next Great Magician show together.
Yes.
And well, I know you for years in magic. You've got your own show. Well, not an own show, but you do a one-man. Well, sorry, was that a one-woman show?
It's gonna be one man.
It's generally called a one-man show, but yeah, for you, it's a one-woman show.
So we're going to talk about all the different areas of magic that I work in, and I think what Brendan was trying to say is I am a magician, but I also am an assistant for Jamie Allen in his show called iMagician. And what I'm trying to tackle is the misconception of magicians' assistants, because back in the day, they were very glamorous, they had their legs out, they had heels on, there was the feathers, you know, it was all about misdirection. The reason there was a glamorous girl on stage was to misdirect something. And also, you know, back in the day, it was they liked to have a man and a woman, you know. But I do not do that. I don't come on stage with a silver tray and a dove or a rose on it, do I, Brendan?
No, you don't.
No, I'm very lucky to be in such a creative, awesome, modern show.
Yeah.
It's magic with technology, and the things that I get to do, they're so, personally, I think they're really cool. They're really fun. I get levitated with lasers. I get cut in half with fire. I get, you know, drowned. Well, not drowned because obviously I survive. But you know, there's a lot of involvement as an assistant nowadays, and I think with time it's changed for a lot of shows. But I just feel particularly lucky to be working on a show that I don't walk out as the assistant, you know, I walk out as part of the show.
Yeah, true.
I feel a part of it, and Jamie gives so much recognition to all of the assistants. Like it really, really is a team thing, you know. And yeah, it's so much fun.
It's honestly, it's great. I was on the show, and I remember voting for them in the finals because what I saw was pure magic. When Jamie levitated you up in the air and he pulled that curtain out and you just disappeared. It was like magic.
I have to disappear in thin air.
I highly recommend watch the show when it ever comes down to the UK, because you're performing in Vegas now, is it? Or you
We're currently, yes, the next step is to tour America.
Okay.
So we don't have dates or anything yet, but yeah.
So you could watch the show on YouTube, but watch them live, because that's great. Now, let's speak about your performance. Does dancing really help? Because I see you do a few moves, or is it being, not dancing, but athletic? Because you're jumping into tanks and you're jumping into...
Yes, I think, so the reason dancers have always got used is because firstly, they've got stage presence. Because a dancer, we don't get to talk. You know, we are literally just a body. So we have to learn how to express ourselves and get that sort of attention in a different way. So we get used because we've got stage presence. You also need to be extremely fit to be an assistant. If you're doing illusions, obviously there are more slower paced shows where you don't need to be athletic. If you are literally assisting, handing things over, that's fine. But if you're doing the big illusions, you do have to be fit. I mean, for example, the water tank trick, I'm climbing up and down a frame like several times throughout, shouting things out to the audience, and the adrenaline's getting you going. And then I've got to be able, like, we train to hold our breath for a certain amount of time, you know, so you do need to be fit. You really, really do need to be fit.
I think you're doing a lot harder job than the magician. Is that true? Because
I would agree.
But maybe not in Jamie Allen's case, because he's jumping the tank himself and he's doing a lot of
okay, let's put it this way. Mentally, the magician has thought of the trick. He has spent weeks, months, maybe years making the trick work.
Of course,
spending the money on buying the illusion or building the illusion or building any materials that you need to do it.
True.
So let's not forget that the magician, he's the creator, she is the creator. The assistant makes it look good.
That's a really good point, and that you're so humble about that, because a lot of people have this, like, oh yeah, the magician's just waving his hands over and you're doing all the hard work. But it's really nice of you. That's why you're so
usually they are the ones that came up with the idea in the first place. So we mustn't forget that.
True.
I did a performance this evening, and I can't talk about it, but the trick would not have happened without my assistance. Every element, every important moment of that trick was under my control.
Yeah.
So in a sense, yes, we do more work on stage, in the moment, performing for the trick, but we don't necessarily do the build-up towards it. And having worked with iMagician for like 5 years now, I have been, we've been having lunch and Jamie said, I've got an idea, and it's literally like 12 months until it's on the stage.
Wow. Wow.
And it's him, it's the magicians who are working on it to actually make it.
So you get one idea, and myself, I got an idea. How about I do this move? That's cool. And the next day I'm doing it. But this is so different. 12 months of preparation, and it makes making the props.
Don't get me wrong, close-up magic can take just as long if you've got an idea.
Not really, no.
Well, no, there are a lot of things.
I understand what you're thinking of routines and putting whole acts together. Yeah, I guess my stuff, I'm just thinking of quick moves, but you're right. Also, another question I wanted to ask you, because I remember you cutting your chin.
Yes.
At the filming of the next great magician.
The live,
yeah.
That was the
final.
That was the final. That was the final.
Was that your worst?
Yeah.
What was your worst injury?
Probably that.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, because I went into the water soon after cutting my chin, which I cut on the framework that surrounds the water tank. I'm climbing up and down. Like, the adrenaline was going, it was very exciting. It was the new routine, the new version of that routine.
Right, okay.
So we had the monster and stuff over the tank. So we were all very excited, and it was obviously, a competition as well, so you've got the extra adrenaline of that. I whacked my chin on the metal frame and it split, but then I went straight into the water, and if you watch it, it's on YouTube. I mean, I think it's really obvious. I'm like this in the window.
Yeah, it didn't look like...
In pain.
Yeah, wow.
I'm like, because I've had to take a breath just before I enter the water, and it happened as I took my breath. So I was in the water, in pain, without having taken my breath in, which, that's what we've trained to do it a certain way. I missed taking my breath in. And if it wasn't for the adrenaline, there is absolutely no way I could have done that. I would have been like banging on that window saying you need to get the lid off, because I wouldn't have been able to hold it. But the adrenaline, I was like, it's the live finals, it's an audition, just hold it there. And it was horrible. And then he pulled me out and we bowed. And I think I looked like really sad, because I'm like in pain.
That just goes to show how professional you are.
Well, you can't mess it up.
Yeah.
It's the lives. It's going out. It's there. So the last thing you want after months of rehearsal is to be crying. Like, no, it's not happening. And the nurses were awesome. Sort of came off, so I've split my chin, and the guy, the runner, we all had our own runners, didn't we? He said, oh, no, you're fine. He sort of just brushed me off, and I was like, no, I really think it's bleeding. And I found the first aid room, and I was already like quite swollen by this point. But obviously they didn't know what my face looks like, so they were like, no, you're okay. But it was pretty bruised. I'll show you a photo, but you might want to keep talking whilst I find this photo.
Sure. I mean, that's incredible. So there you go. It just goes to show you how professional she is, and just jumping it, and I'm not even talking much in this interview.
Sorry.
I very rarely do that. No, but you know what? You really, I don't need to talk. You've taken this interview yourself.
I don't think
but
it's
we'll put the video,
Yeah.
I'll put the photograph for them watching it later. But yes, you know, if you do want to see Nat again on this channel, let me know. It's just wonderful having her on this channel. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much. I would like to say one thing to the viewers.
Yes.
The very first time I came to the Magic Circle, Brendan was here, and he was, you know, showing everyone his juggling, and I was absolutely blown away and really intimidated. Because I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to audition here, like everyone's so good. And do you know what? You were so kind and so generous, and he made me feel so, so welcome. And I always remember that about Brendan.
Thank you very much.
People should know that. So thank you, Brendan.
Thank you, I'm blushing, look at that. People, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great time wherever you are, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.